How's it going, man? Welcome back to a tier list video. This is the early game legendary and journey guide tier list. Not looking at the guild stuff, just the journey guide and our legendaries. We'll start with our S tier, and I'll work my way down. I'll try to explain my reasoning. So this is early game. So we're not doing Malik and Gas and Giant League. This is when you unlocked early for these characters, what is the impact? So we're going to start off with number 1, Darth Revan. I went back and forth on Giant Revan and Darth Revan on who is the top of S tier, but the bottom line is both the Revans are ginormously good S tier unlocks early on. They're both incredibly strong and can single-handedly propel you in whether that's Squad Arena, Grand Arena, Territory Wars, like they're ginormous, and they're relatively self-contained on their teams. Giant Revan, wants Grandmaster Yoda. Darth Revan wants you to eventually get toward Malik, but he's pretty self-contained with HK and Bastila, and you can just 3-man a lot of stuff. So they're both incredible. Next up is Palpatine. That Palp Vader 2-man early game, especially if you toss in Mara, is just so incredible. Beats so many things. All 3 of those have to be your S tier early game legendaries. A tier, Chewbacca. So I kind of did a building block thing here. I'm saying, hey, look, Chewbacca, you're getting Chewbacca, assuming you already have Commander Luke. You're making an A tier squad there. That's where I'm at with that. And even like whether you have 3PO or not, for example. But Chewbacca takes CLS from down here to up here. He is a ginormously important unlock, as well as I'm also keeping in mind the requirements. He's a cheap unlock, and bounty hunters are a really important faction early on. So to me, that makes him just very solid A tier. Next up, we have Commander Luke himself. The main reason he is still allowed to exist in A tier here instead of being B is the requirements. He's super easy to unlock, like Gear 8, Gear 9. You can get Han from the raid store now early on, so you can very quickly get a CLS team online. You don't need very many Zetas to get this to be a functional team, just like 2 or 3. So it's an okay early control team. So this is assuming like a Han and a Luke. Maybe you get a Chewie in there. I'm trying to not lean on too heavily on how many other legendaries can we stick in here. But yeah, so that's... I could have seen him being maybe lower in A, higher in B, but Luke has a special place in my heart with how easy he is to unlock. And we kind of have the same thing happening here with GMY. GMY, super easy to unlock, but super valuable to plug into a Giant Revan team. It is so easy to get any 5 Jedi at low gear and toss them in there and just get GMY up and going at 7. He's a cheap gear. He only has 1 Zeta that you would ever consider doing, and you don't even have to do it. He's got a really strong kit that will continue to be timeless as you play the game. Next up, we've got Padme. While Padme will fall off toward the late game and toward the end of the mid game, Padme is really important early for helping shut down things like Giant Revan, helping shut down things like Palpatine with Vader. But Padme is just a good, solid run there, as well as if you're going the Galactic Republic Separatist kind of starting path, you're going to have your Separatist built up, and you'll get Padme with GK, little snips, all kinds of things. Anakin, maybe, if you're not trying to get like a Qui-Gon on me early on. Just a very solid, all-round legendary for you to get early on. Kind of bottom of A tier. B tier here, top of B, I have 3PO. The bottom line is, you can get 3PO without CLS, and he does basically nothing for you. You stick him in a Padme team or Resistance or whatever. But if you can get him in a CLS team, I could easily bump him up to A tier, because he does really, really help CLS's damage output. He's a pretty big add to your CLS team. Next in B tier, I had Han Solo and Falcon. The bottom line is Rebels have fallen out of fashion early on. Negotiator, Empire, and Malevolence are kind of the 3 strongest early game-ish fleets. So the bottom line is it's just not that important anymore. It is a cheap unlock. You'll get it if you're doing any kind of bounty hunter chase, but ships are ships. And unfortunately, this one's just not going to really help you in Fleet Arena or GAC all that much. Next up, we have Thrawn. It's not that Thrawn is bad necessarily, but he's just not as important as anything else here. You'll notice I said the Palp, Vader, maybe Mara team. While Thrawn can be used there, and he's quite strong, the bottom line is he's not really the game-changing character he once was, and so he has fallen out of favor there. Next up is, notably, Thrawn's ship. It's a fine ship. It's just not something that you really have to push for. You can use You can use Tarkin's ship early on until you get your Leviathan, or not, until you get your Executor, until you get your Negotiator, your Malevolence. You can just use Tarkin's ship. The ship's fine. That's why it's B tier. It's fine. But it's not really going to be a game changer for you, kind of like Thrawn. Next up, this is kind of their requirements for things tier. BAM is a requirement for Executor, but the team is not very good. BB-8's a requirement for GL Ray and Jedi Training Ray, but he's not very good. R2 is a requirement for CLS, but he's not very good. And JTR is a requirement for GL Ray, but she's not very good. So that's how I organized and broke up my early game legendaries. Let me know if there's anything you would change. I think the biggest thing that I really struggled with was the Commander Luke trio of legendaries here, was exactly where to put them, and probably Jedi Revan and Darth Revan at the top, maybe putting Jedi Revan ahead of Darth Revan. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.